Hello, fellow traders. 'Tis I, the Rumpled One, coming to you Sunday, March the 22nd, the year 2020. Let's talk trading, Walmal method, day 18. Yesterday, Walmal and I were talking, and he reminded me of something that I had mentioned, years ago. I don't really think I talk about it much anymore, but when you're trading, right before you put the trade on, does your hand start to shake? Does your heart beat a little bit faster once you get in the trade? And see, that's something that we were talking about. Now, the thing of it is, if that's happening, what's the reason for it? Are you unsure, nervous, risking too much, afraid to lose? You got to figure it out, because the thing about it is, you know, this method just really points out the let's see, how should I put this? It really points out how each trader, I guess you could say, performs under quote unquote pressure. Because really, there's there's no reason to not take the trade for the most part if you're doing the Walmal method. Now, let's bring up a chart here. And you can see right here. Now, the spread, I think, right now is kind of crazy, so that might be a reason to get out of the trade. But you can see right here, it hit the 160 level and just moved on. So the question is, would you have taken that trade there, or would you have like hesitated? Would you be nervous? And let's see, it's already hit a high of 1604. So there was already an opportunity to take 4 pips. Right now, it's looking like 1.7. But the question is, does your hand shake? Now, of course, fellow traders, you have to remember these videos are for educational purposes only, and your results may differ from mine, and that trading's very risky and you can lose all of your money. So, if you need trading advice, if you need investment advice, if you need financial advice of any kind, seek the advice of an accredited financial professional. That way, if and when you take their advice and you wind up losing some or all of your money, you know you took the advice from an accredited financial professional rather than some guy with a funny name posting YouTube videos about trading, or you read something on a trading forum, or you got a tweet or something on Facebook, etc. Okay, disclaimers out of the way. Now, I've worked on the above below indicator a little bit more. And what this is showing here is how many times out of the last 480 bars, how many bars opened between the lines here, and then how many times did it cross above the line, and how many times did it close above the line. So right here, it crossed above 12, but it only closed above 6. And you notice how these numbers stay here between 16, the 00, and the 90, even though prices moved. Well, the other one, or the original version, it would move the trigger. So I put in an option to either keep it or you can set it to true, and it will move the trigger. Whereas now it's telling you what's happening between 10 and 20. And see right there, every time the price moves, now it's back between 0 and 10. So it'll give you that information. So in case you want to take one of these trades. And as you can see here, the price action, it hit the 10. You could have had your 10 pips in what? 1, 2, 3 minutes in and out. And see, the other thing about this method that Walmal and I discussed it at length, this is really for scalping, 2, 3, 5 pips. And it's really hard not to yell at the screen, because earlier today I had a couple of trades down here, and then I popped out for like a 5 pip trade, and then of course, it ran about 100 pips. Yes, I was like kicking myself, but to be honest, I was coding and trading, which is something that I don't recommend anybody do. So I just put on a trade. I had an alert every time it would hit one of these lines, the alert would go off, and I'd look at it, go, okay. So I put the trade on. I put a 5 pip TP, and it was like boom, 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 out, out, out. But that last one though kind of hurt when I saw it run up 100 pips, but I wasn't trading. I wasn't fully focused. But anyway, so back to the method. You can see here price is now dipping back in here. I really should have the spread dots on the chart here. I don't have it. I don't have it on any of the charts, but I really like looking at the spread dots. And this is just the simple sweet spots, and it does have the little oh no, it doesn't. I took it off. Um, it it just is leaving this object behind. But this is just straight sweet spots indicator here. And then on this one, this is the Walmal freebie. And we're looking at the ranges so far this hour, 16 pips. But I mean, look at these ranges from the past 4 hours. I mean, it's just insane ranges. But let's keep looking at the rest of the things. Of course, fellow traders, you always have to have your risk management, whether you're using the Walmal method or what method, because you don't want to lose any more on any one particular trade than you're willing to lose. And Walmal and I were talking, and it's like, sometimes you might want to cut somewhere, but cut your loss at, 4 or 5 pips. Granted, on the pound, you're already giving up about 2 pips when you first entered a trade. So if it moves against you 2 or 3, just get out. And the reason to get out is because you don't know how far it's moving, especially in these markets. And it's so much easier to make up 4 or 5 pips than it is 10 or 20. And that's just something, I mean, that's just pure game theory. It's just something that you have to look at. Now, there was a trader who said something about had a question. I kept saying price action, price action, price action. I think we talked about this on the last video. But the thing is, I realized there's something else we can add to the price action, because the way I describe price action is when you look at price action, price is either going to stay between the high and low of the previous candle, or it's going to exit out the top or exit out the bottom, or do both. So basically, there's 4 things can happen: no exit, exit below, exit above, and exit above and below. But there is one other thing you can look at for price action. For example, price either closes above something or it doesn't. So for example, here's the previous day's open. So at the end of the day, price is either going to close above that open or below it. It could close right at it, but it's either going to close above the line or below the line. It's that simple. And that's what you just have to look at when you're analyzing these things. Okay, we're still putting in the opening day range here. I mean, but look at these numbers are just insane. Close to low for the year, 2,600, almost 2,700 pips. I mean, it's just insanity. Okay, so far today we could have an inside bar. You can see here there are some inside bars to be had if you like trading that. The day's range is already 145, and we're only what? I think we're about 3 hours into the day here. Just really insanity. Okay, there's the open. We've already went right through the bottom. It gapped up. Oh, I didn't even mention that here. Let's just take a quick. We do have some gap fills, and there's some that waiting to be filled already. Notice the pound gapped up, came down. Okay, back to the buy zone there. You know, very simple. Rats, its range is large enough, so green rats have already feasted once. We took out the daily pivot, but you notice here, there's the weekly pivot, 118.23. I wonder if we're going to take that one out. See, there it is again, the weekly pivot, and for the past 2 weeks has not been hit yet. And here we go in the daily. We already took it out. And there's a daily that needs to be hit there. In and out of the wick zone, actually opened in it and fell out of it, came back, fell out, came back, fell out. So here, it either closes above something or it doesn't. That's price action. And when you look at these type of trades here, like here, how many times has it closed above the 1650? It doesn't look like it to me. It's crossed above it a couple times. So there's a place where you might want to look to get short. But remember, boys and girls, educational only purposes only here. And you can see here what's happened. See, there's a nice gap right there, and price went and closed it. You see there though, there's another gap right here. Look for price to fill that gap. So back to where we started here. So you can see here prices between 0 and 10. It's crossed above it 12 times, but only closed above it 6. And if we put this back here, we come back here to set this, move triggers false just to keep it. We're just going to trade out of the where the H1 bar opens. We've set that to false. And then down here, my period, you need to set that to 1 hour to tell the indicator where to use. And here we are right here. So you can see just by keeping it there, we came back in once, it left, it came back in a second time, actually broke through the bottom, but then it reversed on you. And you can see here, this is the ask 26. That's just crazy. This is a time where you just don't even want to trade. I mean, 22.8, I mean, that's 14 pips spread. That's insanity to try and use a scalping method where you want to get 3 to 5 pips or so, and the spread is crazy like that. It's not tradable. So that's pretty much it, fellow traders. I don't know if I've got any more ideas on this indicator. I have changed it because I realized I just wanted to look at the bars that actually open between the triggers as opposed to just any bar anytime close was between the trigger. Because this really gives me what I'm looking for. How many times did it actually, cross above, and how many times did it close above? So the X I use for cross in almost all of my indicators. So X above, cross above, X below, cross below. And you can see here it actually opened and closed 20 times, 56% of the time between here. So price is staying here, it's only breaking out about 44% of the time, right? So that pretty much wraps it up. I don't think there was any other questions hanging out there. But feel free to ask questions, and I'll probably be sending this indicator out maybe by the end of the week or early next week. I'll just wait. I need to play with it a couple more days to see if I get any more ideas, if there's any bugs in it. But expect this one in batch 3. So, fellow traders, just remember, if your hands are shaking, Something's going on because it's not what you trade, it's how you trade it. So go out there and drain the banks.